Howdy y'all, I am definitely not a hedgehog, and welcome to Pleb Review. What we have here is Diablo 4. I am calling this a Pleb Review video, however I am doing things a little differently, mainly because I have like 6 hours to make a project that would normally take about 30 hours. So I have dreamed up this amazing idea of using my review process as content. You see, normally when people make these kinds of videos, what they do is they play a game, they record the footage, they like write a script, they record themselves reading the script, and they slam that all together and come up with something. And for me, that takes like 30 freaking hours. So I had this genius idea of, why don't I just record myself doing the review process and just use that as the main body, use that as the main content, and remember not to touch things because of green screens. So I am going to sit here and respond to my own footage. Yeah, it's like one of those reactions. Like, people love reaction channels these days. I'm just reacting to my own footage. My incredibly loud footage. I need to adjust that. Holy moly. I have it tuned down in the recording software, but it is blowing my eardrums out right now. Goodness, how do I fix this? And see, the cool thing about doing it this way is, push of a button, boom. I can just pause the footage right there. That sounds about better. Okay, everything's shaking. See the green screen? It's shaking. Oh no. I literally have a screen that is green. There's no like bed sheet up here. Look, I'll turn it off. See, we're doing this live. We're doing it live. Boom. See that? It's a screen that is green. And then I just turn on this filter. And then boom. We got ourselves gameplay footage. It's not gameplay footage. So this is my screen. It is just showing my screen on a second monitor. Basically, that's what's happening, even though it's green screen and it's an OBS. So you, the audience, get to see what I see. So I would normally like have to displace myself mentally and like write some note off to the side, or have like a script on the second monitor and go type up that thought and then have to remember where that was. And it really takes me out of the experience, and it's really annoying, in my personal opinion. So instead of having reactions on the fly like you do with that recording process or with a live stream, and I will have the recorded footage already recorded, and during this review process I can have responses, not reactions. And so that means I can see something at least twice, and if I have the same idea the second time, maybe it's a good idea, and then I can, relay that through this microphone. And I would love to eventually do this live. I think it would be awesome to have an audience with me and have like somewhere like, I don't know, right here or maybe on the screen somewhere, have like a live stream chat that can go on at the same time, and I can have like responses along with my audience, so we can react together. So I can react to my footage and the audience can react alongside with my footage. I think that'd be pretty sweet. However, this may also mean that some things are kind of lost in the process. There may be some awesome joke I would have forced myself to think up that doesn't get relayed to the final content. However, this does mean I will have an easier time of things. This will certainly be easier than the normal process. And if you don't like what you were seeing, feel free to just watch. You can just watch the gameplay and ignore everything I'm saying. I could just do what that TikTok trend is. Oh man, I'm sure many of you out there have seen it, where it's just like a video of something happening and there's this like Grand Theft Auto gameplay or like Family Guy clips. I could just sit there and just, here we go. So I'll just sit here. So like, you have the gameplay, or you have Family Guy, or you have me. You have the best of all three worlds. If you just don't like what you see or don't like what I'm hearing here, you can just watch some Family Guy. Diablo 4, in my opinion, starts off very strong with introducing the villain first and foremost. There's more emphasis on her than there is you, the hero, which is a very interesting take. And you got this guy that looks like that dude from that Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the first one, the one that like most people forgot about. Is that a piercing in the dude's forehead? Oh, that looks painful. I didn't even notice this first time playing through. Ugh. I feel like there is some some birthing symbolism going on here, like, because that is flesh. And if anybody has seen any footage of birth, it is horrifying and gross, and there's blood and just flesh everywhere. And this summoning ritual, there's a lot of blood and flesh going on. I believe the developers were going for some birthing similes here. Ugh. That skin tearing sound is just horrible. Oh, she got pretty eyes. Oh, the heart. Yeah, the heartbeat through the chest cavity. You can see through her. That is nutty. Diablo 4. Alright, that's the video. Thanks for coming. See you guys later. I got 7 hours and 20 minutes of footage to go. Although, here's how freaking good I am at this whole YouTube thing. There's like an hour-long break in this footage where I spent like 60 minutes just researching the voice actors for this game, because I care very much so about voice acting. And the person I eventually landed on was the female druid. Now, picking a female character in a multiplayer game is not really my scene because of some incident that happened years ago in an MMO that I will, as a story for another time, I'm not going to talk about right now. The female voice actress is the voice actress for Jack in Mass Effect 2 and 3. And Jack has got to be one of my favorite representations of just like female heroism. Yeah, is that the right word? Like a heroine? Like a female hero? Yeah, because Jack is just awesome. And I apologize that there's nothing going on screen right now, because I'm just on, at this time of this gameplay, I'm on my second monitor just looking up all of the voice actors and actresses. And my second choice was actually the male barbarian, specifically because he is the voice actor of Gendo, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Yes, he's the voice of the dad of the main character there, which I just think is hilarious. You go from this anime to save, like a scientist is going to save the world, to just male barbarian voice, like how the mighty have fallen. No offense. We're just going to skip right through this. Another reason I want to do it this way is with the push of a button. And there's just, look at this. Look at all this nothing. There's literally an hour of nothing that happens. Look at how fast, how many clouds move past while I'm skipping through this footage. Alright, so I've researched every voice actress and actor for all 8 possibilities, and I land on female druid just for Jack from another video game series from years ago. One thing I was annoyed with the freaking druid classes is you can't adjust your actual body dimensions whatsoever. Like, if you're playing a druid character, like, you have to be chubby. Like, really? Are you like, this is a role-playing game. At least I think it's a role-playing game. The role I would like to play is as a hero that is not chubby. Like, I'm chubby in real life. I want to escape my reality into this fantasy world and be a hero that's not chubby. Like all the cardio you end up doing in this game, you think your character would lose weight eventually, but no. You're gonna be a druid character, you're gonna be chubby. Damn, how long did I spend in this character selection screen? Yeah, there's still more nothing. Goodness. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. What is wrong with me? Yeah, if I had the option of like putting the druid female voice on like any of the other classes, I might have picked, I don't know, ranger or wizard or something. The druid class, like, mechanically did not speak to me at first. And the only reason I picked it was because of the voice actress that I'm forgetting the name of. Courtney Taylor. I've been talking about her for several minutes now, and I finally remember. Well, I didn't remember. I had to look it up. Courtney Taylor. She is the voice actress of this female druid and of Jack from Mass Effect. And so because of this simile, is that the right word? That's not the right word. Because of the logic I chose to pick this character, I decided that my character's name should be Jackie. In retrospect, not a smart choice, because I'm playing a female character with a female-esque name in a multiplayer game with like other dudes probably. So we start off with our main character walking through the woods. The setup is really just kind of loosey-goosey. Who are we? Why are we here? Where are we going? Like, we're not really given a purpose until after you're done with like the first town area. And I think there's some talks about it in like small side mission like dialogue about who you are and where you're from per character, you know, because it's different for all of them. But I wish that setup was kind of established here, because like while I'm watching this cutscene, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? What's my goal? A great symbolism right there with the destroyed statue. I do love that. Why'd you get off your horse too? See, look, the horse senses danger and has the right idea of running away. Unfortunately, he chose the wrong direction to run away in. Like, if you had stayed on the horse and just try to guide him to go right instead of left, we could have avoided all of this. I don't know why you got off your horse. Also, your hair is kind of messing up in this cutscene. I'm just now noticing. And see, look, now we're wandering, like, in the wilderness. Weren't we just on a path, like, with, like, a trail, right? How are we now in, like, some cliffside by a cave? What is our character doing? Why didn't you stay on that path that obviously led somewhere? I mean, I guess this cave is your life. So you didn't even crawl all the way in the cave. Seriously? You're on the outside. Like, that's not saving you. Like, that's not that deep of a cave, but you could have gone at least, like, a little bit further in there. All right, and the game begins. You get like one tutorial, and it's just telling you how to move. So we're just gonna fly through this for a bit, because this first area is whole just a lot of whacking on wolves. And this first town is a real bit of a nothing burger, because nothing really goes on here. So here we are in our first village. We have established that things aren't right, and we can help fix it, but we don't actually establish why. What our motivations are. Look at my character. What are they doing? They're walking around and they're left clicking on things. That pretty much describes Diablo 4. I feel like this scale right here should be just the full game. This is 3 times the speed I have it running right now. If this was the full game, I wouldn't mind how long it's taking to just do anything. Yeah, this right here would be perfectly passable gameplay experience. Our very first boss. Let's see what kind of interesting mechanics I really wasn't paying attention to. Respect to the developers. They are not afraid to absolutely murk a new player, because this guy was doing some serious damage. And if you don't pay attention, he can absolutely kill you. However, he is also dropping healing potions like crazy. But I had to use those healing potions, so good on them. I still have it running at 3 times speed, because like what you see is what you get so far. This is quite the fanfare for one adventurer doing one job. I wonder if these villagers could have an ulterior motive to... Oh! Seems that there's something going on. What was in the stew? What was in the drink? Oh, look at my character's made a mess. I am a terrible host. Or, excuse me, house guest. Oh, disgusting. That snorting sound. Very realistic to many people I have met. Oswin spits on me. Or spits next to me. The handles on that door are enormous. I've smelled dying things before. I've been around a few dying things once or twice. There's a lot of corpses in this barn. Even like in the middle of a storm with lots of wind and stuff going by, or if you're in a lounge or a lodge, excuse me, that's just full of food and things, like this would probably smell awful. And you would notice it from like way outside the town. Here's the priest. Now, is this the priest from the first cutscene? No. Oh, I thought this guy was black skin. No. So this is someone totally different. I know you're trying to awaken my character, but swinging a weapon inches from my head seems ill-advised. I really love that the villagers retain their names. That is a creative choice that I appreciate. That I really think fits very well with the dramatic revelation of what's going on here. Like they could have just said like cursed villager or something, but no, they put the villagers' actual names. So it really sets home that these are people that you are. Oh, I'd say murdering. No, they're trying to kill you. That you're killing in self-defense. These are people that are tainted by some type of evilness, and they have names like Stannis and like George. Oh, here I am just doubling down on the werewolf. See, you don't have to play as a fat chick if you don't want to, because the druid is a shapeshifter. So if you just want to be a werewolf, you could just be the whole game being a werewolf. Don't even gotta worry about the chubby chick thing going on.
They kept it locked up for a reason.
Most things that are locked for a reason. Great deduction skills from this priest here. For minigames, I find you have a distinct break between combat and like story elements, and I thought that's what was going to go on here. We were going to go into this chapel, and there would be like some investigative thing we would have to do for a little bit to kind of learn more about what happened. But no, you just go in here, you click on a thing, and then boom, another cutscene. So this is one instance where the player's time, I guess, isn't being wasted, but I'm also feeling like I'm kind of being rushed right into this reveal, so to speak. I would have loved to like found things laying around, and like my character would comment on like a bloodied book or something, or find like priest a vestige and say something about it, and then this cutscene would start. Just spend like a minute or two kind of building up to it. But you walk into the room, click on it, and we're watching a movie again, which it's not a time waster, but I feel like the time could be used a little bit more creatively. Now, of course, after completing your first little town area, your reward is just more walking and left clicking on things in your environment. I love that he is currently eating in cutscene, and the voice actor really sounds like he's got a mouthful of bread.
Not just any demon.
The voice actor on the other side of this character, Lorath, that dude is earning his paycheck. So Lorath does a big favor here of just lore dumping onto us who Lilith actually is, and we express our desire to hunt her down and stop her. So our motivations as a character has finally been established, but I still don't know why I was here in the first place. I know what I'm going to do from this point on, but why I was traveling to this village, why I survived the ritual that the villagers try to put me through. Well, I guess I didn't really survive. I was saved by the other guy. Am I corrupted? Yes, you are corrupted. You see freaking visions out of nowhere. That sounds pretty corrupted to me.
What will you do about it?
Find out what she's after. And then boom, we now have our motivation finally after 2 hours basically of playing this game. Well, maybe an hour and change, because I did spend a whole hour trying to Google voice actors. So, okay, an hour and change into playing this game. We finally have our motivations, which I believe is at a low priority for most Diablo fans. I'm guessing most of y'all just want to walk around and left click on things for like multiple hours on end, which, to each their own, I suppose. But that's not my preferred gameplay method. If the game wants to tell me a story, I want it to be told well, and it makes attempts to, and then it throws me back right into the world where I get to play with menus, walk around, and left click on things. And the shop is now available. I don't remember if that was available at first, but look at this. This right here is what the developers care about. They want to sell you cosmetic things. Spending $70 on the game is not good enough. They want your endless income that they just assume we all have. Oh, and here's another thing. Look at this. This world thing, I remember this from Diablo 3. So what this does is it actually makes the world more difficult, and you get very minute bonuses from it. For a new player entering, it sounds very tempting, because it says right here, levels 1 through 50, meaning the game developers fully expect that some people will just pick tier 2 and continue like from the very beginning and just continue on like that. And your reward is 20% more experience, so you level up 20% faster, and monsters drop like 15% more gold. What it doesn't tell you is you will get crap tons of experience, and 20% may not be that noticeable, and you sure as heck aren't going to notice the gold boost, because gold is, from what I can tell in the first couple hours, has very little purpose. I'm sure it makes way more sense down the line with the very high difficulties, but at this lower level, at this beginning stages of the game, it feels like an enormous time waster. I utilized it for 2 hours, I think. I felt like my progress was much slower. I had to spend a lot more time walking around and left clicking on things because they had more health. and like any kind of reward I got out of it was unnoticeable. Here early on, I just feel like it's one more thing the developers are trying to do to artificially extend your playtime. The early stages of this game, maybe this will be different later on, but the early stage of this game do not feel like live stream or let's play friendly, because after reviewing 2 hours of footage, the only thing I would like to do right now is go to bed. Here is one thing the game does very right, and that is these events. They seem to pop up at random. There's something dynamic happening, and I'm about to slay a whole bunch of enemies and get some actual reward out of it. And if there was more of something like this in between like point A's and point B's, it would feel much more engaging of a world. But my biggest problem with these events is that there's like not enough of them. So now we're about to enter our village number 2. So they're not going to let us into this village until we do this little ritual. I really like this. What this does is establish how strong the faith is in these worldly beings that the game calls humans. There's a lot of evil versus good going on here, and these we humans seem to be quite faithful, and this emphasizes how strong that faith actually is. See, he gets a horse, so he's going to get to his destination nice and quick. I get to wander on foot for the next 5.5 hours of gameplay footage. So now here's something that I really appreciate about this Diablo lore. In many like mythologies, like you have symbolisms of like a greater heaven and like a lower hell. But in Diablo, they are two very real places. Like angels and demons are very real things. Like when so far in the game we've been fighting like mostly just demons. And it says here that one of these angels, Anarius, and one of these the reason that the sanctuary exists, which is just the name for the world, is because one demon and one angel got together one day and decided that the eternal conflict was a huge waste of time, and they created a place where they could exist without having to worry about heaven and hell's eternal conflict, and they called that place Sanctuary, and that was the earth. And so now the father of the earth and all of its people, Inarius, is butting heads with his former girlfriend. Basically, they had a bad breakup, and the wife and the devil wife in the situation wants to keep everything in the divorce. So we have Lilith, the great demon and the mother of witches and such. She wants to do something, I don't know, take over or destroy, I haven't made it that far, and Inarius, the father, wants to prevent her from doing this in a way to get good faith and try to get back into heaven. This part is just, I find very funny, that the Lorath companion, he is some type of special character. He's a real dirtbag, a real deadbeat, and he sends you on a mission to go pick up his crap, and you, the player, have to pay for it. It's only 20 gold pieces, but still. Alright, we are back at it again. Different day, same shirt. Don't worry about it. Let's go. Oh wait, that's not right. Oh, that don't look right. Oh, I almost forgot my hat. If I didn't wear it, somebody would mention something. It's one thing I find very intriguing with the Diablo 4 mythos is like, and in many fantasies, there are, they're like pious entities. They're like god beings or, holy creatures. And it's often you see the case that like they're distant or metaphorical in some capacity. Like, oh yeah, they're over there. You can't see them. And they don't have an active participation in what's going on currently, but we still like worship them, And in Diablo, the gods and demons and stuff, they're super real. This reverend at one point later, she's like, oh yeah, Anarius, the guy that like created the whole everything that we are currently standing on, he's like right over there. Like, you want to meet the dude, the angel that made the world that we are standing on? Yeah, he's in that temple. He's like right over there. You can just go talk to him. The mother of the whole world, you already met her. She's the reason you're on this quest to begin with, and it's just really hilarious. Like, it's just an interesting dynamic. So this kind of sets the stage for what we're dealing with. Lilith is the spawn of the prime evil, one of the original like demons, like, and the father, Angel and Arya. So she's the mother, he's the father. So these guys had a thing, and because of it, Lilith is not associated with hell, and Inarius was kicked out of heaven, or he left. I don't remember the exact deal. And they had a thing going on, an angel and a demon, and now they're getting a divorce, and we're basically, as the children of this angel and demon, we're caught up in this like crazy divorce proceedings. That's basically Diablo 4 in a nutshell. From my first 3 hours of the game, that's what I've gathered. Now here, I am about to enter a dungeon, and unbeknownst to me at the time, this is actually supposed to be group content. My fault entirely. I didn't understand that this dungeon is a group activity. And so when I get to the interior, I am just completely overwhelmed at first. Like in another multiplayer game, like a category, like an MMO, which I don't think this is trying to be, but if I was playing some kind of MMO, there would be, I would expect some kind of match-making mechanic implemented for something like this, where the game tells you this is a group activity and gives you a bit of a pop-up warning saying you are about to enter a group activity by yourself. And since foolish of me to not realize what this was, I walked in here and it took me like at 90 freaking minutes, like seriously, an hour and a half to get through this with a very challenging boss fight, to the point where I think this is where I turned down the world difficulty. I'm still at world tier 2, going into a group activity by myself, and I'm sure there's some veteran player out there that's going to tell me like how easy that actually is, and it's not that big of a deal. But for me, this was a lot, especially because I'm so new. Like I have a basic attack, a special attack, and one ability. I got 3 things I can do. I can attack one way, attack a little bit better, heal myself and buff myself a little bit, and then my actual potions. So my options of what I can actually contribute to an engagement aren't very big. And even like right now, I am losing huge chunks of health just from like one swing of this enemy. Now if I had 3 other dudes along with me, this would be a cinch, because it's designed to be a group activity. And let me just see, like once you've seen a little bit of combat in this game, you've seen it all. Let me see if I get to like the boss fight. Yeah, I am in here for a alarming amount of time. I'm getting loot, I'm killing dudes, I'm leveling up, but man, is it taking forever. I'm just skipping through all of this. I want to get to this boss fight because this is something I actually, here we go. Oh yeah, I died. Here, yeah. So here, I have like, look at all this loot I freaking have. You get so much freaking loot in this game, and it's all like either gradually better or not better, and just, you fill up your little inventory so quickly. The game's just throwing stuff at you. I have gained like 2 levels just in this one little dungeon. I think I entered at level 9. Now I'm level 11, and I still just have my 3 abilities and my healing potion. I'm about to go walk into this boss fight on world tier 2 and absolutely get wrecked. But yeah, like I can imagine in a group setting, this would have been a whole different story. I have multiple people doing damage, multiple people that help with these little guys, and I really wish some kind of matchmaking system was implemented just so I could find people for these. Like I'll happily play by myself for like the story, doing my own thing for quests and the like, but like this, like I wish there was something at the door that says, find other players near you first, or here, we will search other players also doing this dungeon for you. And then we can all just knock this out in 15 minutes instead of me spending 90 minutes trying to do it with myself and failing, I think, 3 times. I'm about to die here again. Look, see, I have 3 healing potions, and I'm not using them. I'm about to die. I wonder if I live. Ooh. Oh, nope. Nah, okay, I died there again. So I had healing potions. I just didn't realize that if I had just utilized them a little bit more smartly a word, I could have survived to the next phase and probably gotten some more. And here I think I have a pause in the footage because I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do, because this is like the first time I've died in this game after 3 hours and 20 minutes of playing. I've died now twice in the span of like 4 minutes, and I'm getting pretty frustrated. So as you can see, I've teleported back to the town, and here's another mechanic that I really like. You can just leave your current location and get back to I think it's a waystone in certain hub cities, and so I can run away back here real quick, do some upgrading, buy some potions if I need to, and then reapproach whatever situation I was dealing with. And having that is actually very nice. Being able to just quickly get back to a hub town area is something I think many games could benefit from. Lots of games out there that are kind of a little bit less serious and more arcadey, try to take themselves very seriously, and they will make you like walk all the way back to the beginning of something. I wish more developers weren't afraid to just allow players to kind of just teleport as needed. You know, nobody likes their time wasted, and this is one instance, or very few, but this is one instance where the game is trying to save your time. So credit where credit is due. Here, I'm actually wasting my time by upgrading, and this early in the game, you don't need to be upgrading like at all. You will find, as happens here actually, I spend a bunch of gold and these resources at the bottom here. Where are they? Right here. I spend gold and resources to make my armor like 0.2% better, and then immediately the next enemy I kill drops a piece of armor that's like 10% better, and all of this hanging out with the blacksmith was just an enormous waste of my time. Of course, the game is not going to tell me that. This is just for me to figure out that, yeah, I've dropped 1,800 gold pieces on a piece of armor that I'm about to throw away in a couple minutes. So I must have done that dungeon at World Tier 2. I must have just gone back and just pushed through it. But yeah, because if I reset the world, I'd have to redo the dungeon, and I definitely win the boss. We'll see here in a moment. Well, this is embarrassing. Oh, sorry, I put my hat back on. I just came back from the bathroom. So I totally did this dungeon, I promise. I apparently just forgot to record the footage of me defeating the boss, but here I am. I'm still on World Tier 2, and the dungeon has been completed. And I got 2, like, blue rarity drops from it. Amazing. The group activity that I did by my friggin' self gave me 2 basic drops. I didn't even get a level up from it, because I'm just short of a level up. I mean, at least I gave some self-satisfaction that I completed the dungeon on Tier 2 difficulty, and I didn't even record myself doing it because I paused the recording and forgot to resume it. Man, that is embarrassing. So here is our first instance of getting some understanding about our character, our druid character. And it's like, okay, so my character is not from here, but that doesn't explain why we were here to begin with. Like, why were we in that mountain? Why were we headed towards that village? Why did we even run into Lilith? Like, maybe it's destiny, I guess. Some establishment would be appreciated, is all I'm asking for. So we find ourselves trying to follow the path of Lilith, the great mother and demon or whatever. And we meet with one of the great protectors. I forgot what their names were. And we see in this vision that he had an audience with the demon lady one-on-one, and so he's an influential figure. He's in like this manor basically, and she just appears directly in front of him, or at least some doorway, and says right here, grant me entrance. Like, if you were alone and this popped up in your office room right in front of you, wouldn't their first instinct be to maybe get some type of guard or security? Not walk into this obviously evil demon door and then go open the curtain made of flesh right into... Oh, this is some amazing symbolism right here. That's very intimidating. Like, dude, you opened the door. You opened the flesh curtain. You invited her into your room. I love that she can just run up and like touch his necklace of like a symbolic, like a symbol, a faithful symbol type thing that he's wearing on his chest, meaning that it doesn't actually like affect her in any capacity. Like it doesn't burn her skin to touch. Like it just doesn't matter. He's wearing it, and it really doesn't serve like any protective purposes. She is trying to get some type of information from him, and look, he tells her to just F off, and it's hard to tell if it actually works, but it certainly looks like it does. she sees this painting and finds out that he doesn't have the information she wants. But he's like, he's denying her, which is like a very important thing to do for demons if you didn't know. And then she leaves. I can't tell if she's being forced to leave by him denying her, or she got the information from the painting that she saw. But if denying her doesn't work and like touching that symbol thing doesn't actually hurt her, how powerful is the actual faith these people like cling to? It seems like nothing. There's very little that can stop these demons with faith alone, and they need heroes like my character to come in with just physical violence to kind of just solve all their problems. So after, what is this, 4 hours and 15 minutes in, and I think about 2 hours of playing on World Tier 2, I just had enough. I turned the World Tier from level 2 to level 1, and I am just breezing through these basic enemies, and like no problem. And because they're just basic dudes, know nothing. It's still a whole bunch of left clicking. That's all this game is. It's just left click simulator. But I get to a point here coming up where I do a main mission that actually gives me some pause, and it is a boss fight that gave me a run for my money, even on World Tier 1, which means that with creative design, the game can have, you know, engaging difficulty, and the tier system, like the purpose seems super like intangible. So we go to this mine. We meet up with a knight and this chick named Narelle. She's a very important child. Wow, she is like really short compared to this guy, actually. We spend so much time in this freaking dungeon. I'm just gonna breeze through all this. Like, there's talking that's happening, there's enemy slaying that's happening, and like it just takes so long to really get anywhere. And we get to see visions of Narelle's mother. I guess the whole point of this mission is to find her mom. Spoiler alert, I guess, for end of Act 1. Narelle's mom is the final boss of this mission. And boy, is she a pain in the butt. Here, let me just... I think it was like literally 45 minutes. That's how long we were in this dungeon. It took forever. And so now we're at the final encounter. Our knight friend effed off, and we have to go deal with him later. But yeah, we're here with Narelle and her mother, and see all that on the ground? That's not chalk. She made this enormous thing out of her blood. This enormous diagram out of her blood. And that just goes to show you that Lilith is... She's not one of those nice demons you see in the animes. Lilith is no joke. And she will leave you writing messages in the ground with your own blood. And maybe your daughter's blood. We're trying to convince Narelle's mother that being evil is actually not that cool. And Narelle's mother's like, no, being evil's super cool, and I will prove it to you with violence. And she does. This boss fight wrecked me in about 20 seconds. I didn't realize until my third attempt that stream of red is a damaging element, and there's so little feedback from receiving damage in this game that it will absolutely get you killed. But like, I wish there was more tactile feedback, like hit markers or some such. There's a subtle heartbeat thing, and the screen gets kind of red. But when you're focusing on your character, it's really easy to not pay attention to this little red ball right here at the bottom telling you you were about to die. And yep, there we go again. I wonder how many times did I die in this freaking fight? Man, I turned down the difficulty. And like I said earlier, it just goes to show that with proper gameplay mechanics, like I die again. I think this is my fourth time. Yeah, I died 4 freaking times. And I was almost on stage 3. I almost beat it that time. But yeah, with good mechanics and an interesting stuff going on, you can make a engaging encounter that has a certain amount of difficulty, and you don't need that artificial world tier nonsense. So yeah, I got so beat up, I actually quit for that day, and I had to come back and try again. And I think I knocked it out first try this time. Yeah, here we go. The final stages of this fight. So I've defeated 3 waves of this nonsense. There's all kinds of stuff going across the screen. I now have like 4 abilities to my name and a healing potion. And this boss fight taught me a valuable lesson in patience, because my first instinct when I see big old health bar is just to drain that sucker as fast as possible. but running in there kept getting me killed. And I gotta trust in my ability to deal with enemies at like a steady pace, because trying to rush through this was just a surefire way of dying. If I had help, this probably would have been a cinch, but I appreciated this boss fight. This boss fight made me learn some things, like learn to watch out for unobvious damaging elements, and taught me to pace myself and not try to rush into certain engagements, because like trying to drain the health bars of the enemies as fast as possible is my first instinct, and doing that here kept getting me freaking killed because I'm just walking in to hurtful elements without watching my own health, focusing too much on the enemy instead of me. And it's a lesson I'll probably take with me further into my experience with this game. And at the end of this, I was still very satisfied. Yeah, so you defeat that one, and the rest of them go. And this really showed me, or really made me start to believe that the world tier thing it wasn't super necessary. You can make engaging content without artificially like adjusting damage values. And this mainline boss fight was a main story boss fight, was very engaging, and it had a proper amount of difficulty, and I had struggled just enough to when I was actually overcame it, I was satisfied with myself. And so far, this was the most memorable encounter in the game. At hour 5.5, 5.5 hours, I had an actual, I keep using this word, an actual engaging experience. And so, like, there's some developers behind this game that kind of know what they're doing. And now, here we are about a half hour later, and we stumble across a pretty good example of the game kind of flipping the script a little bit as far as engaging encounters go. Now, for story reasons, I kind of forgot why I'm here. I think me and Nayrel, the girl who I just, the mom I just killed, we're now trying to find some more information about how to stop the big bad demon lady. And we stumble into this boss arena, and there's like abilities going on from the enemy. There's like things I'm trying to learn. Like I learned that ability right there hurts a lot. And I've also learned that this boss's favorite mechanic is just to run away. Like right there, you do a little bit too much damage and the boss just teleports to the other side of the room. Like I would almost feel better if it just had arbitrary like invulnerability segments. But here, like running away, it feels so freaking frustrating. It's just stretching out the fights just a little bit longer than it probably needed to. And I've switched up now. You see, I'm no longer a werewolf. I'm a what's it called? Earthbender. Forget about shape-shifting. This is the real way to play a druid. And here's something that's pretty interesting. The boss does too many abilities. They go into like a cooldown phase and let you get in some free damage, which is very appreciated with whatever this is. Short Herald of Lilith. I don't know how you... T-C-H-O-R-T. For being a herald, she's sure not very talkative. And you spend more time wandering around trying to find out where she went than actually participating in the boss fight. It's not very difficult. I'm being pushed around, I'm being hurt, but I'm getting enough healing potions. None of my abilities actually heal me. I have to rely on the potions. And there's nothing going on here. If there was little enemies popping up, that would change this dynamic entirely. But yeah, she just floats around the arena. Sit still and die for me, please. This doesn't need to be a 15-minute fight. We could have been out of here like 10 minutes ago. This is 3 times speed. She added 1 ability per phase, and it really didn't change a whole lot about it. That last fight felt very thought out and planned and orchestrated. This one just felt like they were cobbling together something real quick, and it was more annoying than fun. Now we're back, and Nayrel, kudos to her. She is taking her mother's death very well. She wants to immediately resort to necromancy. It's just like my mother. We just got done killing my mother. Her corpse is in the tomb where we left it. We didn't move it. We killed her. We left her corpse there. And now we've come to this other place, and we've learned that necromancy is a thing you can do in this world. So let's just go revive my mother and ask her how she could help us, because she was so helpful the first time. So here's a part that just really put a smile on my face. So remember when I said earlier about having the world of like angels and demons? They're real like corporeal things. They're just beings that exist. Well, we do this ritual We're gonna go talk. We've been dealing with the demon mother, right? She's the one causing all the problems. Well, we're about to go meet the angel father. We had to do some silly little ritual. And once we do this thing, we go to this temple, and there's an archangel in here, and Narius. There's like one guard posted as this guy. This is the dude that has created the world in this lore, and there's one guard posted. We do one simple ritual, and now we can just go talk to him. And he has a really long hallway for some reason. It took forever to just walk down this hallway. Now we get this really interesting cutscene where I'm thinking like this is going to be symbolic, like we're going to spiritually have some communion with this guy in some way, you know, going back to Catholic roots. And they even have this imagery, but the camera pans up, and no, he's just there. He's just right here. We're just in the same room with the dude that has created the world we're currently on. He's just been chilling here this whole time. We've been trying to chase his ex-wife, the demon Lilith, and he's like not helping. He's got his own goals and ambitions, I imagine. But like, look, this is crazy. He's literally like 4 feet in front of me. I find it awesome. Actually, it's pretty cool. Apparently, these are like beings of sound and light. Like demons are like physical things, but the angels, or this archangel, they're creatures or entities of a sound and light. And like the armor and the hood is like not actually him. Like these little tendrils are what this creature thing actually is. So like all of this behind him is like his actual thing. Look, there's nothing in the hood. It's just like sound and light, which is interesting. He's also a big jerk. He just tells me to F off. But like, how exactly did they make the beast with two wings? How exactly do they bump uglies? Like, I mean, was it a physical thing? Was it a spiritual thing? Was there some kind of osmosis? Like, it doesn't actually, it's kind of hazy on the details of how exactly those two did the business. And I'm sure there's some really dark and disgusting fan fiction that I do not want to investigate, but I bet something like that would exist somewhere. So we go back to the priestess that sent us to Inarius, and we tell her, hey, Inarius refused to bless me. Dude was mean and told me to screw off. And she's like, yeah, I know. That's pretty much how he treats everybody. Like, you would imagine the angels will be the good guys. From what I can tell, they're not the greatest of guys, but at least they're better than the demons. So in this world of Diablo, the demons and the devils and the hell is like obviously the bad. And the angels and the heavens and stuff is just good in comparison to that, but it's not great. And it's like, yeah, the father of all humanity told me to told me to go pound sand, and the priestess is like, yeah, he tells everybody to pound sand. That's just how he operates. There's a certain charm to doing this live. Like, I keep moving constantly. I keep shaking the screen. Very, very professional. Let's see. Do I do anything more important? Oh yeah. So I meet up with Narelle. Yeah, we just left her mother in this tomb unattended, just to be, assailed by whatever. Like, I could have came back here a significant time later and like there would have been nothing left, but no, I guess it's fine. And like, yeah, look at this. Isn't this such a good coping mechanism? You lost your most treasured loved one and you're like, I'm gonna do some necromancy, and she is not enjoying it. This, like, I don't know what it's like to have my soul ripped out of the afterlife and put back into the dead vessel that is my body, but it looks not fun. And for emotional purposes, it's probably not a good thing for Narelle. But I guess she gets to say goodbye to her mom one more time, or I guess for the second time. Oh, this feels so wrong. Going over here and willingly going along with this necromancy stuff makes it hard for me to feel like the good guy in this scenario. And this kind of seems obvious. When we first killed her mom, she was trying to kill us to get our blood to activate her little ritual thing, and now we come back willingly just drop off our blood to activate the thing anyways, to move forward with what we were trying to do. It's like, Could we have not, like, knocked her mom out and maybe broken off her possession? That's the word. There's no option to, like, knock her mom unconscious and remove the possession somehow. We had to kill her. And then now we have to resort to necromancy and just do what her mother was trying to do anyways, but this time under our own agenda. This part feels so unnecessary. I'm fast forwarding through all this footage. You beat one boss, you leave, fight another boss to learn some necromancy that has already been established as a thing. I don't know why Narelle needed a special book. There's literally a necromancer class in this game. Then you come back, fight a bunch of nonsense, and then you get to the room. Like, what even is this dungeon we're in? I'm wandering around these caverns thinking, like, what did this used to be? Are we in a church? Is this a sewer system? I'm probably asking questions that no other actual Diablo fan even cares about. So what are we doing here? Oh yeah, Rothma. Oh, so this is Anarius, the Archangel, and the big demon. After she left hell and he left heaven, they started bumping uglies, and I think Rothma was the first son. So Rothma would be like Adam and Adam and Eve. There's definitely some similarities between the Diablo lore and Christianity, but yeah, there are some differences. And like, this is he's the first son. He's just been alive for however many hundreds of years. Apparently, Anarius, the Archangel, the guy we just saw in that little auditorium place, told us to F off. He thinks that he is the hero of the story, and every time he brings it up in conversation, everyone he meets is like, no dude, you are not the hero, you will not get to go back to heaven, and he really upsets him. So here's another pretty engaging boss fight. Like, there's no kinds of nonsense even here that feel like there's a time waster element where he just covers the whole arena and you have to protect yourself with. Thankfully they give you a companion here, which I thought was really cool. I didn't even know who this guy was at first to the very end. You find out who's actually helping you fight this boss. And like here, that thing where I hide in a bubble to protect myself from his nonsense, it feels organic. You know, like the last boss was just running around in circles and it was really annoying. But here, if I don't pay attention, like, I will get hurt by all the stuff. What is this? Lilith's Lament? I don't even know what this is. A flesh monster. If you stand still for too long, this flesh monster will take advantage of you, and so you have to remain on your toes. And I certainly feel like it's better constructed than the previous stupid demon that was just running around in circles the entire fight. And there's a lot going on too. It's not quite overwhelming. It feels exhaustive. Like there's not a moment to spare when dealing with this. This feels like if I do not try, the boss will absolutely make a mincemeat out of me. And this is actually just really cool. Like the entire arena boss arena gets filled up with nonsense, and your random companion actually helps you deal with it or to survive it. From a story beat, it really feels like you and this other person are taking part in something important, and like it's a close thing that's barely but like you're barely scraping by. I don't know if this other dude is actually doing any damage, but I'm happy he's here. It's these games go on big power trips where they try to make you, the player, feel like the most powerful thing in the world. And after 20 years of playing games, it actually gets kind of old, I will say. But this actually does a decent job of making me feel like I'm not the most powerful thing in the universe, and I have to get some help from this mysterious knight in shining armor. And we find out that he's not so knightly. This is actually really neat. After I'm done, look at all this crap I got in my inventory. It just fills up with so much nonsense. I have to exit out and throw it away. I spend more time sorting inventory than watching cutscenes. So earlier, when we met with Narelle, we met with a knight and to try to find the demon Lilith, and he actually ran away. Well, he went back to the church, and the church told him, look, you can make up for your sin, but the way you're going to do it is by putting on this medieval power armor. Look at this. He's called the Penitent Knight. Penitent basically means punishment, as far as I can tell. And so this thing is kind of maybe hard to see. It's like full of spikes and stuff. So he's in this Iron Man suit that I guess makes him more powerful, but also kills him in the process. and he comes back to help me in this fight. It feels this is just a dude who is trying his best, and his final action in life is just to help me on my journey. Like, he doesn't even know if I'm going to be successful. This isn't the final fight against the demon, the final boss demon. This is just one small step in that direction, and it feels very natural from the story beat. Like, this is supposed to be a minor character, and I felt like attachment to this individual, that he is just like a man, a flawed man who is trying his best, and it's just something I can appreciate. And God, you see all this blood? That's not from the flesh monster, that's this dude's blood. Oh my God. And the inside of the armor is just full of gore. Like, as he was helping us defeat that demon thing, he was getting killed, not from the demon, but from his own armor. It's just insane. Oh look, I start screwing around. I'm over here doing emotes in this in-world cutscene because I'm just kind of so done with it at this point. Like, that boss fight was pretty engaging, and that cutscene with Vigo was emotional. But man, the whole like leading up to it just felt super unnecessary. Like, all that dungeon crawling. I guess that's what this game is. It's just one big dungeon crawler. But man, does it ever feel like a time sink? And here we get the cutscene. There's a dead dude here. Oh, who is that? I wonder who's dead and why is he dead? We see the demon Lilith. We're always just one step behind her. Aw, is that Rothma? Is that your first son? Did your husband get mad at your son? See, okay, now that is pretty messed up. So he was keeping information from Inarius. The demon chick didn't kill this guy. It was the angel dude we saw earlier. And he isn't given the choice to like pick a side. Inarius just kills him on the spot to prevent I don't know what he was trying to do. See, because she gets a key, a literal physical key to hell. And maybe Inarius didn't realize that it was in that spear. But yeah, that's the door to hell. That's the key that opens it. So what was the point? Like, did Inarius just kill him out of spite? Like an angel that feels spite? Like, it's kind of hard to feel like we're on the good side here. Like, I know she's corrupting people and causing blood rituals and stuff, but there's a very interesting dynamic where like the angels are just as bad as the demons in this game. At least that's the takeaway I'm getting from it. Because from what I can tell, this guy, the first son of like all mankind, was just killed in cold blood. yeah, by a good guy. A good guy. I'm almost out of footage. I definitely played further than this. Did I just forget to record it? Oh man, I'm so good at this YouTube business. Aha! I found it. So this is found a whole hour of footage I had recorded and forgot about. Well, if I forgot about it, it probably means that nothing's happened. Here, let me put my hat back on. I have like such mixed bag going on here because there are certain things I feel like the game isn't doing in my favor. Like with the world tiers not doing anything for me. It's like the general gameplay of just running around left clicking on things doesn't feel like it's kind of floating the boat, if you know what I mean. A crazy amount of enemies, a crazy amount of left clicking in your time with this game. However, there are times of intense like intrigue, being able to switch your character stats or your character abilities on the fly, getting constant loot, like that's always very satisfying, and the occasional like boss encounter that has unique mechanics that aren't repeated, at least so far in the first 8 hours. There's plenty more hours to go where they could reuse assets, but credit where credit is due for the time being. And while the general day-to-day gameplay and the world tiers and even like the obvious monetization tactics, like I didn't even touch on really, but you have like, there's a shop in this game that has all of these cosmetic things, and you can tell that they really, really want you to give them more money. Like, I spent $70 on this game, and it's very obvious that the developers do not think that is enough, and they want more money from me. So they implement this shop to try to squeeze just a few more bucks out of me. Let me see if I can find it actually. Yeah, so look, the shop menu at the top of the screen showcasing a big old notification symbol telling me that there's goodies to be had here. They're really shoving it down your gullet, saying you're like, look, you've spent money on us already. You bought the game once before. Wouldn't you like to spend more money on cool cosmetics? Don't you want a backpack that has a beating heart on it, which I kind of think is really cool, and I would like to have. If I could acquire it in game, would be very nice, but no. 800 platinum. And I'm sure as this game continues, that list of things to buy in the shop will just grow ever and ever longer. And actual downloadable extended content we may see in low quantities. Who knows? I would love to get proven wrong. Any Diablo 4 developers on the other side of this camera, which I'm sure there's just loads. But go ahead, prove me wrong. Have awesome content updates with all kinds of events and bosses and stuff, and just don't focus on the shop all that much, and go down in history as a really good game. But what I predict is going to happen is this game is going to see a slow or almost non-existent rollout of future content, but a plethora of extra stuff to buy in their shop, because $70 just isn't enough, and they need like all of our money, all the money we have. We're just greedy gamers, and we want everything at a fair price, and we just want to hold on to our wallets. And these billion-dollar gaming, or billion's a big word, these multi-million-dollar gaming companies just can't keep their lights on unless we give them $5 of cosmetics every single day. I said $5 in cosmetics. I meant $5 for their cosmetics. So then they could just make something slightly different, and we give them another $4.99 for. Just 30 payments of $4.99 over the course of this game, and you can help fund the next one. Well, I am now at 2 hours of footage, and it is Sunday night at like 11 p.m. and this video has to, or this recorded footage has to be turned into a video by tomorrow. So if you have enjoyed this rambling thing I am now trying, by all means, like the video, comment below, and tell me how good of a job I'm doing. So I guess I'm a reaction channel now. Hey, but this seems like the perfect format to just have in the background while you're playing something else on another screen, which is, I know, is a very common way of ingesting media these days. So hey, if that's for you, well for it. If you're just going to sit here and stare at me this entire time, hello, nice to see you. But let's see if I can turn this 2 hours it took me to review 8.5 hours of footage and make it into something entertaining for you on the other side of that camera. So if you enjoyed, happy to hear it. Kind of surprised to hear it, but also very happy to hear it. I will be going right back into working I guess a part 2. I'm not going to label it that for algorithmic reasons, but yeah, I'm going to continue to play this Diablo game this upcoming week and make content, or make another video on it at the end of the week. So until then, I am definitely not a hedgehog. This is not goodbye for good, just goodbye for now. Thank you so much for watching.